Hey everybody, how's it going? So I didn't notice till a couple days ago. Chad called me up and hit me up and asked me how the 55 was going. I noticed then that I haven't posted any videos recently, so I wanted to get y'all caught up. I've made several videos. Every time I start a video, it seems like the phone dies or someone calls, and I'm using the YouTube app. So when that happens, you've got to start all over again. And I'm not starting over on the work. So I'm going to have to download them, edit them, and then upload them. Or I might just upload them and edit, trim out some of it, and just go with that. So, but anyhow, the motor's in. I'm waiting on parts right now. I'll get you caught up to where I'm at. And as you see, the motor's down. Basically, I've got the coil packs on. I've got to finish up putting that side on. I'm going to do that tonight. I did have to trim that back one and repaint it to keep it away from the firewall. I've got plenty of room for the motor to tweak over, and it shouldn't touch anything. Motor mounts, I raised them a hair bit, so I've got plenty of clearance down there for brake torquing or power braking, twist of the motor, getting on it. Where it won't touch or rub. Got the Corvette exhaust manifolds. They're on. And plenty of clearance on both sides on those. I was worried on the driver's side for the power steering gearbox. But as you can see right there, there's well over enough room. I can put my finger in between there. So very pleased with that and the fitment. I did go ahead, and as you see, I've been doing the exhaust since I got home from work. Oh, he wants to run the converters, so there's the oil pan and everything. Converters come down. I'm going to run a bead around the exhaust right there. It hangs down not bad. A little bit further than what I like, but he already had these two bends inside the exhaust, so I'm kind of screwed with that unless I cut it all out. And it just so happens it fits perfectly with the exhaust manifolds. That side's a little bit tighter. Looks a little bit nicer. Drive shaft, I might have to add a little bit of length to it. The transmission setting in the factory spot where the, where the 700R was. I don't think the drive shaft's long enough. It's not going as far up in there as I'd like. I might not lengthen it. I might just buy a new yoke, a little bit longer. Be the cheaper, easier route. Throw new U-joints in that thing and slap it up in there. Back up front, got to finish hooking up the linkage and stuff. Oil filter, put oil in it. Hook up the transmission cooler lines. And then some ground straps. Redo the fuel system. But I can't do that until I get the fuel new intake. He's got a different intake he wants to run. We're not going to run that one there. So I'm on standby on that. The steam port, I call it steam port. So a port right here, it's kind of like the old 400 small block Chevys that had the steam port in the heads. If you put 400 heads on a 350, you're fine. But you couldn't put 350 heads on 400 without drilling them. You would run into problems. I don't care what anybody says. I've been down that road. So, this little steam port right here, it takes the water fluid or the steam or the excess or the air pocket from both sides of the head through this hose here, returns to the radiator. This radiator isn't fitted for it. The Camaro, I bought a radiator in the Cheyenne that is. There's two options here. One is they sell a real, if you don't want to do the radiator, they sell a real nice fitting, T-fitting, goes inside the heater core hose. And you just cut it, slip it on each side, clamp, and it's got a little T, the exact same size as this, run a hose over to it. The second thing is, on the water pump, drill and tap it and put a fitting on it, and then run a hose from here directly down. That's what I'm going to do on this one. So, but like I said, I got to finish putting the coils in on this side, put in my new spark plugs, put up spark plug wires, finish hooking up my grounding straps. And then on the water pump, with the system that we're going with the AC and everything, it comes with the spacer for the water pump. Space out a little bit, the water pump's going to hit the fan. So I either got to move the fan shroud forward or do away with it. And I don't think I can move it forward. If I did, it would be touching the radiator, which means it's no longer shrouding, it's blocking. So I think I'm just going to have to move the fan directly forward and eliminate the pretty shroud he is there. So, but that's going to get him the airflow he's going to need. And I really hate that because it's a fancy setup he bought. And that black spot over there, it is a dial. See if I can get on it. To dial in your thermostat for the fan. So I thought that was pretty nice. Yeah, it's really a nice setup, but the amount I'm going to have to move this forward would be all the way up against the radiator. So I don't think I'd be able to leave a gap in there. I might be able to. I'm not sure. If I can, I'll build a bracket and move it forward. So that's it. Other than that, I haven't got to tear down that motor yet or do anything else with it. A couple days I've wanted to take out the Camaro. It's nice out, but too much hassle to slide it over, and I've got too much work to do on it. As you see on the water pump, I'm going to see if I got one with a different size pulley, but that is one hellacious water pump pulley coming off there. It sticks way too far out. I don't know if the Camaro one's any less enough to even make it worth the difference of the money. But anyhow, everything else is going good. So that's the update. Like I said, I'm gonna finish tonight screwing down the coils, nothing big, and that's probably it. So that'd be a good night. I got the exhaust done and get the coils finished, screwed down, and should be good to go. I'm gonna save the wiring harness for last. I'm just not in the mood for it. If I get a real cold day or two, I doubt it, but if we do, then that's something I can take my electrical connectors into the kitchen table, set down, and start cutting it and redoing it. A couple of the wires are going to have to be extended, like the knock sensors. The intake we're getting, they're located in a different spot, so I'm going to have to move them to the, well, on this motor, it's on the side of the motor, so I'm going to have to move those. And the wiring harness I have isn't for this motor. It's actually for a different motor. But this motor was originally a drive-by wire, and we're going to a drive-by cable. So I had to get a drive-by cable wiring harness and a drive-by cable computer, ECU. So I'll have to extend and change a couple things that's different. Nothing huge, but it's time consuming. But anyhow, tell me what you think. Please comment, share, and like. And keep me posted on if there's something you're wanting to see that I'm doing. Something you got a question about or anything else. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.